Hey, welcome back everybody. I wanted to cover today a couple things here in kind of response to what I've been seeing going around about this new FM3 by Fractal, what they announced the other day, which is basically the AX8 replacement. I've seen a couple other good videos and good articles and some good arguments out there of why people want it or why people don't want it. So I wanted to put together a little demonstration of what I thought it would be like to have the FM3. I've got an XFX3, so I've got an FC6, so I can take the bottom rows of this FC6 and I can basically simulate what it's going to be like with only 3 buttons. And I really think once you understand the new FC foot switches and understand how channels work and all the functions that you can get by just one foot switch or one switch, which can essentially have 3 functions on it: a toggle, so 1 and 2, and then a hold, which is a 3rd one. So it's just going to take a little bit of thought and planning to make that work with only 3. But if you think about the size of the FC6, and I've got it here on my desk, I mean, it's tiny, and that's supposed to be the form factor of the FM3. That would be awesome to have, you know, just plop in your backpack and go. I mean, I would totally just do 3 foot switches for most of my shows. But before we do anything, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell and leave me a comment and let me know how excited you are about the FM3, or, you know, I've seen great feedback from I have no interest in it, and that's what I ask for. But watch this video, keep an open mind, and just think about what you would do with these 3 switches. I'll be honest with you, I actually thought about filming this and filming the FC6 and then filming the front panel of the XFX3 and putting it over top and making people think I had some like prototype, but that's not my kind of channel, and I don't troll people like that, but you guys probably would have been really ticked off. But anyway, but I thought this was a good representation of what we can expect. So what I've done is I've taken the same kind of specs that we can expect on the FM3. So head over to gregsummersmusic.com. It's my brand new website. It's still under development, but it's got basically all my posts. I'm kind of backfilling the catalog from all the YouTube stuff, but there's some background on some of the things that I wouldn't put on the YouTube, and so me rambling on things like that. But if you look at the post that I did on the other day, which was on April 24th, talks about what Cliff says what it's going to have. So it's only 1 amp block. So I'm basing my preset, which is my go-to preset, I've shared it a couple times here, is you know, I've only got 1 amp block because that's all I ever do anyway. Channels is where it's at, I'm telling you. It supports 2 pedals and switches. I've got a Roland EV5 on this, and I've got a Mission Engineering SP1. It supports Fastlink. It doesn't have all the effects, but they say it has the most important ones. I'm a minimalist guy, so for me, you know, just give me some delay, some reverb, some good drives, parametric EQ for maybe my delay or lead boost. The FC setup is the same as the XFX3. I'm telling you, the FC setup is great. Just the integration of their foot switches, it's the easiest foot switch I've ever had to program. And the firmware is still in beta, so we have no idea what it's going to look like. It could come out looking, you know, maybe something catered towards a foot pedal with a little bit different GUI, or it could be the exact same thing, or it could be just something we don't even notice and they're tweaking it to optimize it for everything. It has a 4x4 USB interface. That's great. We didn't have that on the AX8, and I think that was a big limitation for people, especially when the Helix came out. They were just, hey, look, I can use this as an interface for my DAW. The next thing is it has a headphone jack. That's another big deal. People love to take this. I mean, you could take this thing in a hotel, plug into it. Not this thing, but you know, the FM3. Take it into hotel room, practice. I mean, what a great thing to do and how portable it could be. So here in a minute, I'm going to go over and I'm going to show you. We're going to have the second camera angle. I'm getting my face off of this. We're going to go down to this FC6, and you're going to see me go through some maybe a somewhat real-world example. I can't say it's going to be what I would really use. I would really simplify it. I wanted to just really show you the power of channels and attaching 3 functions to each switch, essentially kind of getting 9 per layout. There's different layouts on the FC. So you have the effects layout, you have the preset layout, you have the effects 1 and 2, I think I just said that, and then scenes. And then you've got looper as well, so you can go to that. And then you've got the master layout, which is a whole other thing, and per preset, which is overriding these things. Once you get into it, you'll understand it a little bit more, but just pay attention to how easy it is to program toggles and holds and other things based on the layouts. So I figured, hey, why don't we take this concept of the FM3 right now and maybe try to apply it with the current XFX3 software in the FC6. So that's why you see it's concentrated on the bottom bank, bottom row of 3 switches. So something that maybe one way that I would program it. And while I'm doing this, show you how I've programmed these 3 switches. I don't think it's probably what I would do live, but I just want to show you what you can do. So I think with 3 foot switches, you're going to have to, you maybe think a little harder. And even with 6, I had to really plan this out, and I had to think, okay, all right, let's play with the song. Let's see if it actually works in a real world situation. And I had to go back and draw it out again and say, okay, I don't like the way this switches. I don't like the way this switches. But with the power of channels, you have, let's look on the screen here. So on the amp block, you've got one single amp block on the FM3. You can only run one at a time. So don't even think about what the XFX3 does. Don't think about running multiple instruments, multiple amps. And I know I do sympathize with the guys out there that do want to run that. They've got a specific application that they, the reason why they want to run them. I personally don't run more than one amp unless I'm plugging in, you know, me, my son, and maybe the bass player. So if you look here, if you don't understand channels, within the Aries firmware, you've got, so if you're not familiar with channels, this is where that power comes in, that you can attach things like this to a foot switch. You can actually switch channels if you wanted to, just like a regular amp. So think of it as a real world example of, hey, I'm going to bring my analog amp in here, and it's going to be a 4-channel amp. So if you look here, I've got a single amp. Channel A is a Friedman HBE, and what I'll do is I'm just going to go up to the scenes here, and you're going to see the channel switch on the amp. On channel 2, which is my clean setting, I've got channel B. That's going to be the Jazz 120, which is the JC 120, the Roland Jazz Chorus. Scene 3 jumps back over to this amp because I wanted to use it again. It's actually my rhythm delay. Scene 4, same amp, but it's a lead, so it's got a parametric EQ, and I've got on the parametric EQ, it's got a small dB boost, and I've got 2K bumped up about 1, which is my mid frequency to cut through, and I've got a drive pedal on. Sometimes I'll turn that off. Scene 5, and I'm going to go back over to the amp block. I've jumped over to channel C, which is a Dirty Shirley, totally different amp. And just like the new Petrucci model that they did of the Mesa Boogie, they've modeled the clean and the yellow and the red channel. So you could put that in A, B, and C and have a 3-channel amp. And I'll show you how to mess with the switches here. So I'm just kind of going through the layout here. Scene 6 jumps over back. It's just another crunch delay, so it's on the same channel. And scene 7, I think, does it go to D? No, it does not. But if I were to go to D, I do have an amp in here. No, I don't. It's the Friedman HBE. But if I wanted to, all I have to do is come over here and pick another amp. All right, so let's jump over to the foot switch. So if you look here, sorry, it's really dark. It's hard to expose with these little LEDs, and they don't want to show up very well. So I have to dim the backlight on the camera just to get it. And I'm no expert on the camera. All right, so I've got scene 1. Let's go back to scene 1. And what I've done is I've taken all my layouts. So, you know, the FC controlling works with layouts. So if you click up here, there's a default, there's preset scenes, effects 1, effects 2. Basically, it's a layout within there that you can set how to control presets, how to control scenes, you know, two basic layouts of effects, and it's got looper. Per preset is something where you can, you know, these layouts follow you whatever preset or wherever you go. And you may have a different song where you don't want that, and that's where per preset comes in, because you can override that. I don't use Perform 1 and 2. It's kind of a default layout that they've done to maybe help you get started. And master layout is basically how you can get to a screen on layout that has all these where you can switch to them. So let's keep it on scenes for now. Right now, this is what this is telling me is this light here this is telling me that it's lit up and that I am on my rhythm channel. You can't see it, but it's telling me that if I press this, it's going to go to the clean. What I've got is this. If you look down here, it is a set to scene, because you can come in here and just select what you want. Think about what you can do with those 3 switches and then draw it out for yourself. And you know, so if you take this here and you look, I've got it, I'm going to control my scene. So go in here. Now I'm going to expand this. There's basically 3 functions per switch. You have toggle, and there's other functions you can do, but the basic ones that I'm worried about are toggle, so I can just go back and forth like this, right? Or you can hold, which gives you 3 functions in one switch. So basically 1, 2, 3, you've got 9 kind of setups here. If you look over to what my hold function is, I'm going over to scene 4, and I'll show you. So I've swapped between 6 different scenes here, and I'm telling you right now, it doesn't make sense for live playing. I'm just here to show you what you can do with 3 switches. If I was to do it differently and actually have something that would work for me, you know, it would probably make more sense for me to have this one where it would be toggled between a rhythm channel and a lead channel, and this may be a clean and a clean boost, or maybe a dirty little delay, crunch delay. I still like my tempo and my tap here, but each layout can have a different function for this. So if you go to a different layout, which I'll show you, this can be totally not tempo and temp, so it frees that up. Tempo, so it frees you up. So right now, let's play a couple things. So I've got this. That's my rhythm sound. But if I press this while I'm playing here, rhythm or my clean channel. Now I can come over here and it's already set here. If I press this, it's going to go to my rhythm delay, which is the same Friedman amp here. And I've got the delay mix controlled on this on a Roland EV5, so it'll be less delay now. With more. Then I can go over, tap this. I've got a crunch delay now, which is a Dirty Shirley. And if you pay attention up top, you'll see it switching to the scene. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the FC off, the layout, and come over to the amp, and then you can see it changing here. So back to here, Friedman HBE. Goes to my JC120. Back to my HBE. To my Dirty Shirley. And then here I can do my regular tap tempo, so I can, let's do maybe a slower delay. I'm totally backwards. Faster. Now I can get to this. If I hold this in, it goes to my tuner, and you can't really see it, but it's up on the top here. So over here I've got a way to get over to my effects layout. So what I can do is I can hold this. If I hold down this one, it goes to my effect, and I can turn on and off. So over here it's got delay, also has more channels, so you could switch to different delays if you wanted to on each of these channels. I'm going to go over here to another stereo tape. So if I wanted to turn that off, That's my effects layout. I can turn my drive on and off if I want. Turn my delay reverb off. You can't really hear it too much. It's a small studio reverb. And if I hold this guy down, which doesn't make too much sense, it goes back to my scene layout. Now the preset layout is a little different. I need to attach one here, so I'm going to do that right now. So let's go over to my FC controllers, and I'm going to take this guy who is on here right now. He should be off. So we're going to clear him, and I'm going to go back to my scene layout. And instead of this lead channel or effects one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change the hold function to layout, and I'm going to select, this is layout 1 is the preset layout. So now when I hold this guy, instead of going to my lead channel, he's going to go over to my preset layout, and I've got each one of these incrementing up 1 right here. Let's go over to my scene. I can show you on the screen. Presets. What this is doing is it's incrementing. I've got, what do you got, a lower limit and an upper limit of your scene. So if you have, you know, just a few, not scenes, but presets. So if you have a few presets in your set list, then you can just put what your lower one or your upper one, and it's never going to go outside of that. So you can do that. So, and if you look at the one on the far left, it's programmed to go back to my scenes. So I go back to my scenes. Now I'm back to the scenes here. If I hold it back down, it goes back to my presets, up and down. So I can go up and down my preset. That's my bass. Back up to my current scene. So I could sit here and I could make another layout for you guys and really show you another real world example, but you really get the point here, is just with 3, if you think them out and think them through and draw them out, maybe draw them on a piece of paper or something of what your ideal thing is. I mean, now you may have this super complex set and you need a lot of switching capabilities. If that's the case, you're going to have to shell out the, what is it, $500 for the FC6, or even more for the FC12. And I didn't even show you that on my cabs, those cabs were switching too. So I've got different cabs in here as well. I've got the Recto cab mix, and I've got this other one that's got a 57 and the 121 of the USA cabs. And this one goes over to a totally different one, and it's got 4 within there just within that one. So there's quite a bit of options there. So with all that shown, I don't know, does it change your mind anymore? Does it show the power of the FC foot switches? I think most of the comments that I've seen, or a lot of those, have been from people that have never seen the FC in action. And I think that's, you know, that's okay. These are fairly new. I've got another video right here that will go through my custom layout and how it works if you really want to see more of the FC foot switch. So check out that video over there. So again, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave me a comment. I liked interacting with all of you guys. It was really cool. There was some good opinions, both negative and positive, and I'll take them all. So you guys have a good week.